Good evening from Vietnam. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Kannan. Thank you so much for spending your late afternoon joining our program to share your amazing journey and your story and the wisdom to our audience. And on behalf of the listeners around the world, we want to say thank you.
Wonderful. It's really an honor to be talking to you, and the just fact that when you reached out to me, my memories went for a jog because some of the best times I've had in my career has been in Vietnam for 8 years when I was there. So I'm glad that I'm here with you, and I hope together we'll be able to share some wonderful conversation, have some wonderful conversation, and share to your audience and to everybody else some good experience that will go a very long way. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Kannan. And as the HR, advisor, we want to say thank you to you also because those years that you had at Vietnam was a very early age for our HR profession there. So
Yes.
people like you come in and help us to build the foundation, to bring the insights over, and to help us to set up the everything to go to the next level. So we really appreciate to have you to come and help the country when we needed it a lot.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
And yeah, and for our audience here in Vietnam and around the world, since you come to our country, so it's very honor for us to have you to share a little bit about who you are and the work you've been doing or the work you are doing now. Would you please do that on for our audience, please?
Well, right now I'm on my own. I'm doing consulting. My space in consulting is helping companies building a diverse and inclusive organization. I
Mm.
work for this very robust, solid consulting company called Avatar, which is more than 25 years in this space. I am on their advisory board. I also help their key clients to build their journey on diversity and inclusion. That's a major part of my work that I do. I'm also a leadership coach. I work with leaders to build humanity in leadership, right? So the organization that I work with is LEH, Leadership at Humanité. It's a French word, uh, you know, coming from the belief that we need more humanness in leadership. So we have this program, and we do this program across the globe. I'm a change partner based in India, and I work with leaders from India and in the region. And this is a 4 months program. So this is another area that I work with very closely. I'm also on the advisory board of a couple of companies, advising them on talent related matters. And of course, my daughter keeps me busy with her activities, and she is a self advocate. So I work on her assignments, and that's how we are trying to keep ourselves as a family meaningfully engaged.
Wow, wow. And you look at your career and you've been travel the world, working in different countries and have organizations to establish that presence and that foundation for future growth. And now you've been helping organization for them to do the same thing and accelerate in the ever-changing world. And Kanan, you share with us in less than 2 minutes. That's not fair for our audience. Okay. So as I said with you earlier, this conversation is for us and for them to understand more about your journey. All right.
Okay.
So we will travel time together. And how does time sound to you?
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
I'll lead the way.
Prior.
I'll lead the way so you see where we're going with travel time. Okay.
Okay.
When I was born in Da Nang City. Remember Da Nang City?
Uh huh. Of
Yeah.
course.
So
Of
yeah.
course.
So 40 something years ago, it's very small city, poor city with a lot of poor families. I was born in that poor family in the poor
Right.
city in the poor community, right?
Right.
And one day we had electricity. The next day or two, we did not have electricity at night. So it's hot and it's dark. So my first dream about the future that I want to do so badly back then was to become an astronaut. So I will be
Oh,
able to travel
wow.
to the moon and be able to uh, show, to see how beautiful up there. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but life did
Mm-hmm.
not give me any opportunity to do things like that. Except that I've
Mm-hmm.
been interviewed a lot of amazing astronauts. One of them came to the moon and walked on the moon himself, and the youngest one out of the 12 who ever did that. So for
Wow.
you, yeah, for you, when you were little, what was your first dream about the future self, though?
Well, to be very honest, my life, like you talked about very briefly about yours, was not very different, right? Even in India, when I grew up, I grew in a small town. I grew up to be a very independent person in the sense that uh, I had to really stand on my feet, look after my education, and decide to go for graduation. Right, my father was working for the Indian Air Force, and we were possibly, I could say that, lower middle income group family, and we were a family of 5 people, my parents and 3 of us brothers, and I was the middle child. So somehow I took upon myself that I should be more responsible for myself than anybody else, and not lean on my parents for too much of support. And that really came to be a true reality when I finished my schooling, and I was possibly the first graduate in my family, and
Um,
I went on to study graduation, and that is when I somehow had interest in people. I was wondering how people's behavior impact relationships. How can we build a relationship, that bondage between people? And I used to sit in small shops that sell tea and coffee, and look at people coming and going and wonder, oh, this person probably could be, from this strata of the society. Oh, I think this person must be a big man in the university, and therefore I need to look at how he's behaving and things like that. So I used to get inspiration by looking at people.
ah,
then then I decided that I need to study further if I need to make a impact in the surroundings and in the society that I'm living. So I decided to study further education. Of course, my parents couldn't afford to further my education, so I had to work while I study, and which many children are doing today in when they go to the foreign countries and when they are on their own. But I had to do it in my own country, and try to figure out how I can do the best in terms of education. So I was working for a PhD scholar, and I used to go around collecting data. He was an HR professional already. He was a very leading HR professional, and he was doing a doctorate. So I used to work for him freelance, go around collecting data for his PhD study. And in the process, I got to know, meet, and understand the HR function even before I got my first job.
ah,
Right? I used to walk for miles together because I had no money to travel by a bus. I had no money to go to a restaurant and eat food, but I used to walk on my feet, in the and go to various factories, institutions to gather this data. That is when I realized that there is nothing better than understanding it from the ground up,
ah.
right? And then by the time I finished my post graduation in human resources, I was being interviewed for some jobs in some large companies, large groups, as a management trainee. But I wasn't very keen in taking up those jobs because I did not want to be one among 100 people. So I chose to do a much smaller job, but at a factory, so
Mm,
that I can learn about people and human resources from the ground up,
mm.
right? I didn't want to be learning and understanding human resources sitting in the office. So I went to work in this factory as a young personnel officer. We were those days called personnel officers. Yeah.
Personnel.
Yeah. Personnel officer. And the first 4 years was huge learning. Fortunately for me, I had several mentors along the way. So after I worked for about 10, 12 years in some companies in India, ground up as a personal officer, going to the labor department, talking to the labor unions, understanding the profile of the workmen, what they need, working very closely with them. Then I decided to join PepsiCo. That was way back in 1997.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
This time I decided to move being a being a big fish in a small pond to being a small fish in a big pond. Right?
Different.
Yeah, very different. And I wanted to test my skills to be a small fish in a big pond and see if I can grow.
Ah.
So I moved from one part of my country. I was in one state, from like how you move from Ho Chi Minh to Da Nang or Da Nang to Hanoi. I moved from Chennai to Bangalore for this job, and I was very happy. But within 6 to 8 months, those days, FMCG was very difficult. It was just coming up, and there was huge struggle to establish yourself as an FMCG company. I remember those days, PepsiCo used to have this drive for recruitment saying, we want 100 salespeople in 100 days. Just imagine the pressure that would be there on the HR folks, right? We used to have factories running 24/7, and you need to keep them running. You can't afford to have breakdown because of union, right? And I went straight into that, and it was like baptism by fire for me in PepsiCo, right? So today I can say this: when I started my career in PepsiCo, initially I found it extremely difficult. I was even doubtful whether I can survive because of the pressure. Okay, and the business was very strong. The business leaders were very strong. They had a say in everything. HR did not have as much say. Okay, so if I used to go in the morning to the office, I would find my business head telling me, Kannan, I don't want this salesman from tomorrow. I don't want this customer executive. Sack him. I would feel very bad, but I know nothing how to defend this customer executive, right? So I said, how can I be better at this?
Wow.
So I said, to be able to talk to my business leader, I need to learn business. And I'm sharing this experience with you because in today's context, not many people understand knowing business is very important for any role that you play in an organization. If you don't understand the business, you cannot be successful. Right? And this is what I kept driving from that moment onward. So what I did was, I used to get up early in the morning. I used to go down at 7 o'clock, load the Pepsi truck, 7 o'clock in the morning, go sit in the truck and go sell Pepsi. I'm a HR person. I'm the general manager HR for that business. Okay. But I did not think about my position. I did not think about my role. My only thought was, if I have to be successful as a HR person, I need to know the business cold. And how do I know the business cold? Only if I go and sell Pepsi, I know the business cold.
Go with the ground.
I'm in the ground. I'm with the salesman. So I did this almost twice a week. Initially for 3 times a week, then I did twice a week, and I continued to do it as long as I was in PepsiCo.
Wow.
Okay, but I wouldn't sit on the truck much later, but I would go to the market. I would walk the street with the salesman. I used to do that. So what happened was, that gave me a seat on the table with the business leader. So when the business leader would tell me about the performance of an individual, I could tell him, no, I don't think you are right, because I worked with him in the market. This is my report, and I do it every week. As much as you think you do, I also do. And I know him as a human being. So
Wow.
let's be more kind. Let's be more empathetic. Let's provide that support that is required for him to be successful. And that is how I learned the business. And that is how over a period of time, I grew up in PepsiCo. And then after about, almost 10 years in PepsiCo, I had this opportunity to go to Vietnam and work in
Wow.
Vietnam. By then I had become the vice president HR of PepsiCo in India. And then I moved into Vietnam as a director HR. So that is the next phase of my journey. So my journey, if I say my work experience in the corporate is about 35 years,
Uh,
21 years is been with PepsiCo.
wow.
Yeah. Of course, my first few jobs gave me the ground up, gave me the solid foundation, but it was in PepsiCo that I changed my axis. If my axis was going like this, I went like that. Right. So
Alrighty. Yeah.
So that is what happened. But I will pause here to now introduce my family, because my family has played a very important role for me in my career.
Mm.
Right. So we are a family of 4 members: my wife, myself, and my 2 daughters. My wife has been at work. She has managed 2 businesses in and out. She in between. I have been all through in corporates. My elder daughter is a special child. She is today 34, but when I moved to Vietnam, she must have been in her early teens or mid-teens. My younger daughter was in her early teens. She joined the 8th grade when I came to Vietnam.
Wow.
Okay, so both these young girls moved along with us to Vietnam. My elder daughter, being a special child, already had a lot of inputs from us as a family, as parents. My wife closely worked with her, gave her early intervention, developed her. She was already a performing artist. She used to dance, the Indian classical dance. She used to go for theater performance, and she used to be very good at creative movement therapy. That's the
Wow.
way special children learn. Okay. So when we came to Vietnam, one of the challenge that we faced was my younger daughter was finishing schooling, and we were wondering, and she wanted to go abroad for her higher education. Okay. So we were wondering whether she should leave us and go, because we had a special child. And as parents, we were also worried how we would manage. Okay. So it was at this time that as a family, we were very close. Every weekend, we used to sit together on Sunday around a table and meditate and talk about everything in our life that happened in that week. So the children could say anything, I could say anything. We called it the family mastermind.
Mastermind.
We used to spend 1 hour, 2 hours. Any visitor coming to our house would also join this meeting. Okay, it helped us a lot. It went on for more than 10, 12 years till the children grew up. Why I'm mentioning this is because I want to bring one incident that changed my life. So during this course of this discussion, every week we used to ask this question: should my younger daughter, Kajol, her name is Kajol, my elder daughter's name is Karishma. Okay. We were asking this question: should Kajol leave us and go? And we did not find any answer.
Mm.
Okay.
Gajong.
Whether Kajol should leave us and go for further education. We were discussing, but we could not find an answer. And it went on for weeks together. All through this conversation, we did not ask my elder daughter what she thought about it. Why? Because we thought she's a special child. What value she can add. Okay. After some weeks, my elder daughter put up her hand and she said, "Can I say something?" We were wondering what she's going to say. And she said, "This is Kajol's life. This is her career. This is her life. Life must go on. Let her go.
Wow.
That's all she said. Everything changed. That was a profound realization for me, that we talk so much about building an inclusive culture in the society, in the organization, but inclusion happens at home. Inclusion happens in these small things which we miss out. Right? And today I can say as a professional that you bring your whole self to work. If you are not an inclusive person, you cannot practice inclusion in the workplace.
Wow. And Kannan, if you look at the way life is designed, like organization where you work as the personnel staff, right? It's also designed by functioning. So you only see your function. Yes. And you chose to go to the ground and understand the business so that you can see a bigger picture.
Yes.
Right? And that's why I think that there's a lot of things is falling apart in the way that organization is designed, society is designed. And you're the first person brought this up about, maybe we missed a lot of things right in front of our eyes, right at home.
Yes.
Yeah. So why did we miss that?
Because somewhere along the way, we are all blinded by our own upbringing. We have our minds programmed, auto-programmed without our knowledge. We carry that stereotypes of somebody should be like this, somebody should be like that. My daughter is a special child. So a special children cannot add value to such meaningful conversations. That was a stereotype I was carrying in my mind. But she opened up my mind to tell that don't exclude me. Right? So this is what I tell people today. If you don't intentionally include people, you will unintentionally exclude people. This is what happened. This is what happened in the example I gave you. I did not intentionally include my daughter in that conversation. Therefore, I excluded her. And she reminded me. This is very important for us as human beings. And we are carried away by the bias, by the stereotype, by the auto-programming that we are coming up, watching our families treat each other, watching the society treat each other. We believe that is right. But there is something else that we are all coming up with privilege. We need to use that privilege.
Wow. So if I don't want to have that blind spot with me, I don't want to have, miss the opportunity to see a bigger things, or to miss the beauty things that may be running in front of my eyes every single day, right? What can I do? What can our audience do to build up the capacity of observing, not missing out, those simple things to the big things that run in front of our eyes like that, Kannan?
In my view, I think we should open up our heart. See, as human beings, we are designed in a particular way, right? A lion in the jungle will behave in a particular way because that is how the lion is made. That is how the creation is made, the lion, to kill an animal, a prey, to feed for itself.
Yeah.
But as human beings, we are not made like that. We have an additional sense to be able to see, to be able to express our emotions, to be able to be empathetic, to treat everybody with respect. We don't do it always That's a different story. But if we do it, will the world be a better place? Most certainly, yes. And
Wow.
we all want a better world. We all want a better place to live, right? If you don't practice it yourself, you cannot see it in the other people.
Wow. Wow. You see, bring me to those days that you did not have the money to take on the bus, or didn't have a proper vehicle to go and collecting data. So you walk on the street, right? And back then you had the desire of knowing people, wanting
Yes.
to know more about people. And I think that seed of desire is important
Yes.
because that helps you to disregard all the challenge, to overcome all of those things that come in, the tires
Yes.
that walk in. And now I want people who listen to this conversation to have that seed, so that it helps them to overcome all challenges that can,
Yes.
life throw at them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us, how did you find that seed?
How did you find that?
Yeah, how did you find it? Because it could be anything. You're coming from a low middle income family. You could have the desire to have more money. You can go to the finance, to the banking, to different things, right?
Yeah.
Why people are complicated.
Yes, very true. Very true. This is what I call calling. Okay. Today I can say that is a calling, right? But
Writing it down.
then I did not know. I was not wise. Wisdom comes through experience, right? But only thing I was realizing was, right, everything is an experience in your life. And if you don't learn from that experience, you will not become wise. And that's why we tell people, you cannot be doing the same mistake again and again. We all will do mistakes. We can do different mistakes. But if we don't learn and go to the next level of wisdom, then that is stupidity. That's being foolish. Right? So therefore, for me, I think I'm an experiential learner. I learn out of my experience. So everything that happened in my life, there will be some experience for me that I will learn, and I will take it forward to my next level, for my next experience. That's been my way of looking at things, and that is why I think I'm so connected. And to me, again, there is something called this connectedness. Everything in our life is connected. We don't know. Yeah. Only after some time we know, oh, why did I go to Vietnam of all the places? Why did I meet Ang Trai in India in 2001?
Who's that
Today
person?
I can Ang Trai,
Ngọc
Ngọc
Trai.
Trai. Yeah, he was the chairman of PepsiCo Vietnam, right? I was his mentor in 2000. When he came to India for 6 months, I was very closely associated with his family. And then 8 years later, he calls me to Vietnam. Right? Now, the story is not over. So I keep asking myself this question. Why did I meet Ang Trai of all the people? Why I was given the responsibility to look after Ang Trai, to mentor Ang Trai? Why did Vietnam happen to me? I could have gone to Russia. I was interviewed by PepsiCo Russia for a job. I said no. And then immediately Vietnam came. Right? Why? Because there is a purpose behind that. And the purpose is what happened to me in Vietnam for 8 years. All that happened to me in Vietnam for the 8 years that I was there is what changed the course of my family and my career.
Wow. You see, that's a lot of things that we will never understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And if life throws to you some opportunity, I think it's best to respond to it with grace, with the best that you could do, right?
Yes.
And like you never know why Andrei was the one that given to you to be his your mentee, but back then you could reject him, right? You could give him half of the service that you could potentially do, or maybe 40%, 60%, but you gave him your full, care, your full
Yes.
mentorship, right? And
Yes.
because of that, he continued to grow, and because of that, he saw the values that
Yes.
you built into his life. And of course, the giving part will comes when time is right.
That's
The
right.
question that lead me to another question. I think is important, but I leave that question later. Okay, I leave that question later. I want to bring to one point before that one is the moment that you decided to jump from the small pond, big fish in the small pond, to a small fish in the giant pond, right? So a lot of us have the potential inside of us, and a lot of us, by a lot of reason, I feel of like not enough, the noise inside of us that tell us not
Yes.
to go into the big ocean,
Yes.
and that stop us from seeing how big we could become. So I want to hear you to tell us, so at that 10 years after experiencing a lot of different companies, and Kannan say, okay, now's the time for me to swim into the
Yeah.
big ocean. What made you?
Okay. I said I have something called this calling that keeps coming, and
Uh-huh.
that consciousness pushes me to go in that direction.
Ah,
Okay. Just keep that thought with you. I also believe in another thing called, and this is something that I learned from Buddhism. As human beings, we all desire. Okay. And we should desire. Even Buddha desired. Okay. But we should not become desperate. So there is a
mm,
difference between desiring and being desperate, right? If you become desperate, then you are impacting your life and the current life that you're living. You can desire something and leave it. The cosmos will conspire if that should really be yours. The cosmos will conspire to fulfill your desire someday in life. Okay? And let me tell you, in 84, when I was looking for a job, I walked on the streets of Bangalore looking for a job, and I saw this board, PepsiCo, India Limited. I'm talking about 84. At
I was
that
two
time, I
years
looked
old.
at, huh?
I was 2 years old by then.
2 years old. So I looked at that board and said, wow, what a great company this is. I wish one day I can join that company. Okay? Desire. I left it there. I took up another job in 1985, worked in several companies for 10 years. And then, by then, Pepsi started calling me. Initial 2 times I refused. The third time I accepted. It was like a calling. I did not go and hunt for them. They called me. Okay. Now I can tell you that desire that I did 10 years back, this calling happened to join PepsiCo.
Yeah.
Okay. It might sound a little philosophical, little spiritual, but I very strongly believe in this.
Of
Okay.
course.
If I was very desperate, I may be going on hunting many places, many jobs. I got several offers. I may have gone and joined somewhere. Okay. So this happened. And then, it was not easy. And in all of these things, there is a there is a path that is being shown to you. You have to keep your head and heart open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I got this opportunity coming, I went. I could have easily left PepsiCo in 6 months' time because of the pressure that I went through in an FMCG company, because the business leaders were overpowering,
Mm.
right? I could have easily left the job, but I continued to work there because it is through that process that one day I would meet Ang Trai.
Mm.
And through that process, one day I would come to Vietnam, and everything else will slowly keep unfolding. And the journey continues. And to be aware of something like this, it is very profound. To be aware of something like this, you got to be living in the moment. Right? If I think of the future, let me tell you again, when my daughter was born, we used to ask this question, why me, God, with a question mark? Why did we have this child? We were going through tremendous difficulties in our life. Okay. And then we had this child coming in our life. And then when we know that she was a special child, we asked, why us? Why are you giving us so much of problem? But within a short period of time, as we were looking at this child and as the child was growing up in about a year's time, year and a half, the realization came to us and we changed that question. Why me, God, with an exclamation, not a question mark.
Wow.
Which means that I am grateful to you for giving this child to me because you believe I can take care of this child. And then when I started looking at my life from that lens, everything about our relationship changed. And when I say my life, I also include my wife. She's been fully, a part of my life and going through all of these processes. So whenever I say my life, me, it is including my wife. That's a caveat I want to give you. And without her, it could not have been possible. So the point is that the question mark changed into an exclamation. We felt grateful for giving us this opportunity to take care of this child.
So wow. So if me want to ask you the question why you gave Andrai 100% of attention, okay, I don't think that needed anymore. I want to bring it back onto the moment of transformative because that is where desire meet, like up outbid the desperation, right? So,
Yeah.
And I think that eventually when you had your daughter, at first, then you move from the question mark onto the exclamation, like you say. That's transformation right there. Transformation
Yes.
right there because it's switching from a world of maybe why me of negativity onto the world of opportunity of
Positive.
abundant
Yes.
possibilities, right?
Yes.
What happened back then that made you move swift like that?
Yeah. So I can't say it is one particular incident or one situation, but it is a series of realizations that you have, right? And then you begin to realize that having given this opportunity for us, right? Everything starts unfolding. Every time we meet a challenge, we will have somebody coming our way to support us. I told you about the mentors that I've had in my personal life and in my work life,
Yes.
right? So it is not that we are getting an opportunity without a purpose. So the question in my mind today is, I need to ask myself, what is my purpose in life? So the question between the question mark and the exclamation is, I began to see my purpose in life. Yeah. And this is what we need to ask ourselves. We may be very big people in the corporate. We may be very big people in the society. We may be achievers, but all of us have a purpose in our life. It is just that we have not realized what is the purpose, right? And this, the birth of my child and the way I'm seeing her, the way she's contributing and all of that is the calling of the purpose of my life.
Mm.
And then I find everything unfolding towards that purpose.
I think the world, workplace, society, communities, families will be a lot better if leaders can find purpose early and can truly align their purpose to actions. Because they're two coins, two sides of the coins, right?
Yes.
And sometimes leader only saw one side of the coin, which is the showing, but the doing's not the same. And that could be for many reasons. And we're not here to say about that. But how can we help leaders to brave enough to be courageous to really truly not showing the coin and telling the coin that both gonna be aligned the same so that they can create lasting impact, create legacy, and years later when their children or grandchildren can grow into this world, those grandchildren, those children will hear about their parents' story and they will be so happy hearing those stories. So what can we help leaders now to really embrace that, Kannan?
Like I said, and this is what I've been working for the last 2 years on, building purpose in humanity and purpose in leadership. First of all, we must understand and realize that, and especially COVID has taught us this, right? How do we build humanity? At the end of the day, we are all human beings. We need to understand each other as human beings, right? So as leaders, we need to understand our core. And when I say the core, I mean, what is our purpose? What are our value systems? Where is my energy coming from? Right? And is my purpose built on my values? Okay. My purpose can be to serve the country. Okay. And therefore I go into politics. But in politics, if I don't do the right things and I'm forced to do wrong things, then my purpose is not built on the values.
My value, right?
Yeah. So likewise, you need values that will push your purpose forward.
Yeah.
You need that energy. And when I say energy, I mean mental, physical, spiritual energy to be able to support us and, sustain us to build that purpose ahead, to fuel that purpose ahead. Right? And all that along with ambition that you have. Everybody has an ambition. Right? But how do you channelize that? You channelize it through your purpose, build it on the strong foundation of values, and support it with your energy to go forward and achieve your ambition. Right? To me, I think leaders need to understand, because once you get this right, your everything else, your ability to influence, your ability to be collaborative, your ability to be resilient, everything will fall in place.
I believe so too. And here's the thing, not a lot of people will be, running a leadership role, right? And maybe the process of exploring self values, build those foundations is hard. I think it's not easy because so many noises out there.
Yes.
So many things that's showing on the media, on social media, on TikTok,
Yes.
on Facebook, that is so shiny that a lot of people will fall into those traps of, life is easy and not getting those resilience throughout the year. Right? So if you have, you met, every level in life, and all aspect of life, and if you can tell the people what to focus so that they're not gonna be, like got sinking on the what we call attractiveness devil of life.
Yeah. I think the important aspect here is, from time to time, we all need to take a pause and reflect on what we are doing. Okay. Let me tell you, in real time, what is the meaning what I'm saying. Okay. You invited me to be part of this conversation. I can choose to take it as any conversation. I can choose to take it as an opportunity to talk about myself and talk about my achievements, and then, tell people that how great I am. But to me, honestly, I see this as an opportunity to pause. You are giving me an opportunity to pause. And as I'm sharing all this with you, I'm pausing and reflecting on my past. Right? When I do that, I become connected with my roots. Right? And that keeps me going all the time. So this pause is very, very powerful. And today's world, leaders don't have time to pause. They go from one meeting to another. They go from one country to another. They have breakfast in one country, lunch in another country, dinner in another country, go through meetings. Right? They don't pause and reflect what is going on in their life. And from time to time, if we don't take that pause to reflect, right, we will be missing out on living in the present.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. I have a few last questions for this, and we have a very beautiful conversation. I really love it because of what you say, you chose, right? You choose to come and take these opportunities to pause and have self-reflections. And I thank you for that, because that will make the conversation meaningful a lot for our audience also, because those reflective moment is insights, wisdom that can help them to embed into their knowledge, their body of knowledge, so that they can grow themselves. Right? You mentioned one word in here is that I really like is the word I think. You mentioned that word I think a few times in here. And my wife and I, we love to explore the world of thinking, because we believe that all change happens from there. Right? And we want to help people to improve their ability to think, because we believe that thinking has so many things that diminish our ability to think these days. And every opportunity to talk like this is an opportunity for me to bring out the best way of thinking from the guests like you to come here. So the question for you is, Kannan, how have you been growing your ability to think over the years?
Okay. I must be very honest that I was also not a person who used to think so much, because there are certain times in your life where your work, your job, your career demands so much. You are only doing. Right? And then you realize that if I want to do more, where is that energy coming from? Where will it come from? Right? So I have to practice being. Right? Because at the end of the day, why are we called human beings? Because we are present continuous. So we need to understand and cherish the present moment. Right? So all of us get into this trap of doing, action oriented, right? Result oriented. We want to achieve this. We want this house. We want this car. We want to go this foreign travel. Tomorrow I want so much of bank balance. Doing. But if you can only reflect and pause and reflect to understand your being, and that is where the aspects of purpose, that is where the aspect of values come. So that is where I think, when I say I think, that is what is going on in my mind. What am I doing as a human being? Right? I'm not treating this conversation as a commercial discussion. I'm not treating this conversation as an activity of I speaking, you listening, you speaking, I'm listening. I'm thinking about my past. I'm reliving my experience. And as I'm doing that, that is triggering a lot of thought in my mind about, oh, wow, this is what happened. So I'm grateful to you for bringing this conversation, because you are bringing that life back into me. Right? So that's my thought process. And that's why I say, I think.
Wow. I'm happy. Mr. Kannan, the next question is, I think, see, I'm going to the mode of I think also. It's contagious, right?
Yes.
the way I look at what you do, the way I look at through this conversation, and I see that you want to create something that is sustainable in the future, to help people to get into the future with pride, with confidence, with the ability that they will be doing amazing thing themselves, being able to swim in small pond, also jump into the big pond and things like that. 2 months ago, again, this is the calling that we don't know. My wife and I decided that we're gonna buy a domain name, the website called sustainabilitymind.com. And then the reason for that is we've been talking about a lot of about sustainability, a lot about practice. But like you said earlier, if we don't lead with that, if leaders don't lead with inclusion, with diversity in their heart and their mind, they will never be able to create that. So sustainability is the same. If people do not have that kind of mindset, they will never have the ability to do what is sustainable for themselves, for the community, and then for the world, right? And we're in the early stage to build that platform up. And the best way for us is to hear experts when they think about a mindset of something is sustainability or having that sustainability mindset. What is that? So I want to hear from you. What is sustainability mind to you?
Okay. I've not read much on this space, so whatever I'm saying is very extempore and just coming to me as I speak. Okay.
Yes.
So split the word sustainability into two parts: ability and sustain. Right? So as human beings, we are all born with certain abilities. We can do something, we can build something, we can continue to do something, right? And create something. Okay? We are born with ability. But how are we going to sustain that ability as we go along, especially those elements that are positive generative? Right? To me, the coming together of these two words is like a continuous process. Okay? To me, sustainability is all about how do you continue to enjoy your life as a family. Sustainability is all about how do you continue to do meaningful business for the good of the society and for the good of the corporation. Of course, you need to make profit. To me, sustainability is all about how do I build good values into the children so that they can carry it forward. Right? And that is the process by which you leave a legacy behind.
Mr. Kannan, over the 4 years of interviewing these amazing people you included, right? And it's easily for us to see one thing that all amazing people have. And me, I have to build that company up called helloNEWNESS. It's something Newness. They take new things into their life. They welcome new things to their lives, right? And if I look at when you were growing up, you take that newness that you are responsible for your life, and you take that newness in that only education will help you to get where you are. You go, right? You take that newness into, instead of going to a big company and compete, you chose to go into a company that in the factory and know things from the ground. And you take that newness, you jump into the to the big pond. You take that newness to take and try on to as a mentee, and all of that's the newness. All right, so we build a framework at Newness. We travel to so many countries to train people, to share the stories about the benefit of having that kind of mindset, of kind of newness in life, right? You are the one who also live in that.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can define newness or help people to see the benefits of breathing something new, embrace newness into their life, have that kind of mentality, that ability, How do you tell people about that?
Uh, it's a difficult concept to understand because we are all living in a world today where materialistic pleasures, materialistic things make a lot of impact in our mind. We are conditioned by what we see in the society. We are conditioned by various things that are happening outside, right? So we think newness is all about having a new phone. We think newness is all about buying a new television set in the house. It's about buying a new shirt and wearing that, right? But can you go a little more deeper and see whether in your thought process, in your actions, in your heart, from your heart, are you experiencing something new, something different? And honestly, every day is a new day. The fact that we are breathing today, and if I open my eyes tonight and get up tomorrow morning, that is newness for me, right? Is the fact that I may be thinking about something and wanting to do something else, but my daughter will come and tell me, can we do this? And with that smile on her face and with that hug that she gives me, I can drop everything else and do that and get a satisfaction. That is newness. Of course, we need a nice shirt. Of course, we need a nice car. Of course, I'm not dismissing materialistic possession, but materialistic possession should lead to your happiness.
Mm.
Do everything with happiness. Don't try to get happiness because I bought a new car. It doesn't come, right? Happiness should not be a byproduct. Happiness should be in your day-to-day life. And why I'm saying this is because you will find happiness when you are experiencing newness every time.
As a founder of that helloNEWNESS platform and the person who devote time to bring that framework onto people as much as I could, I appreciate the answer. It's very beautiful and well articulated, well answered. Thank you very much. Travel time with me for the last one. Okay, for the last question also. And I want to bring you to an afternoon when you went for your post graduation. Okay, you need the money and you work a long day to collect data, so you're tired. And then you rest and then you study because you know the future belongs, will is a result of what you do today.
Yeah.
So now, Kannan now and Ha, the travel time, travel space, meet that young Kannan. Okay, and you are going to tell him about your future. You're going to share with him something that you want to share with him to lift him up to whatever you want to do. You have that opportunity now. So what is that you are going to tell that young Kannan?
I'll tell him, you did a good job, buddy. You did whatever you did without expecting results. And results has been an outcome of whatever you've done. And I'm going to tell that person, thank you very much, because what you did has built me to be what I am today.
Mr. Kannan, I said that we are going to have a wonderful conversation together, and I hope that I deliver that to you as I promised. And I think this conversation is really meaningful in so many different ways for our audience to see, to be easy on ourselves, to love ourselves. We've been working hard, we've been, doing our best and continuing to do that, continue to open our mind, our heart, like you say, right? For more mentors and then to mentor other people along the way to give 100%, 200% of what you do, to be able to be courageous enough to jump into the bigger pond and go to the bigger pond, to the ocean, so that you can be the best version of yourself. And along the way, try to understand more of your values, of your purpose. Try to help people to have values and purpose and have that kind of mindset that you say that have the experience and make it a wisdom so that we can carry to the next person, carry to the next generations. I love this conversation, Ken. I love the opportunity to see you again. If you travel here or somewhere and we be able to see each person, that would be wonderful to give you a big hug again.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And I just want to tell you one more thing.
Yes.
We may have met very briefly while I was in Vietnam, right?
Yes.
Think about it. How did we connect suddenly now? Why did you think about asking me about this conversation? Right? We have never planned this conversation. Why did it go the way it is gone? I'm sure when you relay this outside, there will be somebody out there who will be impacted by the questions you asked and the conversation we had, and that is going to change their life. And to me, at the end of the day, I have done my job by attending this interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, besides the fact that Vietnam is very close to my heart, I have a soft corner for Vietnam and I see that as my second home and all of that. But I don't know. Out there is something designed for this conversation to have its own impact. And it will.
It will. It will. If not now, then sometime in the future, it will, right?
Yep. Yep. The cosmic energy will conspire to make it work.
Desire. That's what you say. Desire. It's like, kind of thank you so much. And I believe in that desire too. I believe that there's something up there, someone up there that program everything. And we're just the one who under that program.
Yes.
And we just respond to that to make the best of it. So
that's right.
We have the opportunity to do the best of it. I thank you for joining me to share this wonderful story.
Thank you so much. It's been indeed a great pleasure for having this conversation, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell your family I say hello from Vietnam, please.
We'll do that. Thank you. And definitely when I'm coming next time to Vietnam, I will catch up on you. And if you are coming this side, do let me know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. I will definitely do that. And you do the same, okay?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.